So how does a night owl like myself become a morning person? That's what we're going to talk about in today's video. I never would have classified myself as a morning person. If you're a night owl like me and you want to stay up late and sleep in and you don't want to change that, that's fine. I'm not trying to change you. I'm just here to offer my experience. If this is something that you're wanting to change, it can be done. So you may have heard of chronotypes. We all have different preferences on when our body wants to go to sleep and when our body wants to wake up. People think that that's something like your eye color or your hair color, or something that is 100% set by genetics that they can't change. Actually, it's only about 50% related to genetics. So whether or not your chronotype is exactly a certain percentage, I don't think that matters exactly. The point here is that it can change based on your environment and based on your habits. Finding the why. Originally, willpower just wasn't working for me. I have to understand the why behind what I'm doing. Having kids requires me to rethink my day and when I get up, and that's okay. They're the best thing in the world. I don't want to be the mom that rolls out of bed and yells at everybody around me until I've had my coffee, angry that I don't have time to myself, just wanting some peace and quiet, and frustrated that everybody's needing something from me. I find I'm a much better mom if I can have some peace and quiet to myself, to drink my coffee, to read my Bible, to have that time for myself. I want to show up in the world in a way that I can love my family, love my kids, love my husband, and I can do that way better if I get myself up in the morning and have that time to myself. I find it's really helpful the night before to take 5 minutes and set my intentions for the next morning. And I find when I do, I know what I'm looking forward to, and I have a much easier time getting up the next morning and having a more productive day. And it's helpful if I can include something I'm genuinely looking forward to, something I'm excited about to help me get out of bed. I find if I skip this step of setting the intentions and I just wing it in the morning, I am more likely to just fall back asleep, to roll over. That warm, comfy bed is just too inviting unless I know exactly what I'm getting up for, exactly what I'm going to do, so I don't even have to think. Otherwise, I just waste time, and so I'm not productive. Okay, so now we know why we're getting up, we have our intentions, we know what we're going to be doing the next day, we have our plan in place. Now comes the hard part. Shifting that clock back in the morning to get up earlier, but also shifting the clock back at night. Because if you just get up earlier and you stay at your regular bedtime, that is not going to go well. That is a recipe for disaster. Sleep deprivation, there's a reason why they use that for torture. So when I think about having to shift my bedtime back, I don't want to go to bed at night. I don't want to end the day. I want to relax or finish tasks, finish things up. And to be honest, sleep is a little boring. So why should I change my habits to go to bed earlier when I want to do other things?
It comes down to remembering why you're doing this in the first place. We already talked about finding your why. What is it for you? Focus on that when you're having trouble going to bed at night.
And it's been a journey. I haven't done this overnight. It's taken me years to figure out how to better function, and I'm still on this journey. I'm not perfect. As we're adjusting our clock back, you need to know yourself and whether you like to do things gradually, slowly, step into it, see how it goes. That's great. You can set your clock back by 15-30 minutes each night on the time that you go to bed and the time that you wake up. And eventually, after several days, you'll get to the time that you want to wake up. I don't think there is a perfect time that's true for every single person out there. You need to know your time of when your kids wake up, when you need to be at work, to know what that time is for you. But maybe that's not you. Maybe you're the kind of person that wants to jump in head first and just go for it. In that case, it's gonna be hard. You're gonna be setting your clock back maybe 2 or 3 hour difference, and that is gonna be painful. But you're going to be able to get through it faster. You're not going to have to be constantly making these adjustments over days and days. You can make the adjustment, set the time, and stick with it. Now that's the key. That first day is going to be extremely hard. That 2 to 3 hour difference can make you not want to continue the next day. But it's extremely important to be consistent with your wake up time. Before this, I heard to be consistent with bedtime. I didn't have a problem with that. But because I struggle with insomnia, had a hard time falling asleep, it might be half hour, 2 hours, 4 hours later that I'm still awake. And so I would reset my alarm clock, because I know sleep is important. So I want to make sure I get it. And if I don't get it at night, maybe I need to get it in the morning. But the problem is then it perpetuates the cycle. It wasn't until I heard Andrew Huberman talk about the science of our circadian rhythm and sleep cycle and the importance of a consistent wake-up time that things finally clicked for me. I remember thinking, wait, what? I'm supposed to get up the same time every morning, even if I don't sleep? You're telling me I need to purposefully deprive myself of sleep? I would consistently sleep in to make sure I got my sleep till the last possible second on work days or school days, and then on the weekends catch up. But Andrew Huberman's telling me to get up at the exact same time, whether or not I sleep at night. Well, yes, it hurts in that moment, that night, when you don't get the sleep during that day. But then when you go to bed the next night, you have that sleep inertia that starts to set our circadian rhythm. When you get up in the morning at the same time, then you're more likely to go to bed earlier to be able to fall asleep the next night or the next night after that. But you say, Heather, come on, I have insomnia. I can be super tired and still can't fall asleep. I get it. I was there. I know this is a real issue, and I'm sorry if that's you. So I used to work night shift. I was tired, not sleeping. So I get it. Being able to get up early in the morning probably took me about a year to finally get used to that. So it's definitely been a journey. It's not something that happens overnight. And if you're in the middle of that, having to switch something that drastic, I'm sorry. I wish there was a magic answer for that, but it's consistency in slowly trying to gradually shift where you're at. All of that to say is that it's a process. It's a journey to shift your time to be able to wake up earlier. The more consistent I am with my wake up time, the easier it is to get up in the morning, and the easier it is to fall asleep at night. Choosing the alarm. So for my alarm clock, instead of using my phone that I can then pick up and scroll, eventually fall back asleep, I got myself a sunrise alarm clock, and that helps me because one, it wakes me up with gradual light over, you can set it 10, 20, 30 minutes, and it gradually wakes you up because of the photoreceptors in your eyes. You can even detect light through your eyelids when you're sleeping. And then it also has music instead of that whatever your alarm clock sounds like. Is soothing and helps wake me up gently and is way more pleasant than a nagging alarm. And actually, I believe it's theta waves that your brain is in when you first wake up in the morning. It's a very creative state. You're not fully awake yet. Your prefrontal cortex hasn't come back online yet. And so if you have one of those annoying beeping alarms that's really grating on your system, can actually kick you out of those natural theta waves and give you a spike of cortisol. Another thing with the alarm is not hitting the snooze. And this is something I'm still working on, to be honest, because it's a hard habit to break. When you're in that warm, comfy bed, you just want a few more minutes. Or worse, I found myself turning off the alarm with the intention of getting up, and then waking up a half hour, 2 hours later and kicking myself. Frustrated that I didn't follow through with what I said I was going to do, and now I'm late, now I don't have my time to myself, and my day has a hard time getting back on track. You can place your alarm clock across the room so that when it goes off in the morning, you have to get out of bed to turn it off, and then once you're up, you're up. You don't go back to bed. And so that's something that you can try if you're struggling with getting up in the morning. One of the things that really helped me in the morning get up was Mel Robbins' 5-second rule. And you probably heard it before. She counts down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and gets up. It sounds silly. She talks about it's like launching yourself out of bed like a rocket. The action of counting down helps awaken your brain, awaken the thinking part of your brain here in the prefrontal cortex. That part of your brain's not usually online and functioning when you first wake up, and you need that to make good decisions and things that you want to do. One of the things that helped me understand my brain was when she talked about how our brains are wired to prevent us from doing things that are uncomfortable or hard. And so getting up in the morning when it's dark, it's cold, it's a new habit, it's not something we're used to. Our brains are designed to keep us from doing that. And so to experience what could be beneficial, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 countdown and then get up short circuits that habit. We know we can delay gratification by studying for a test. We cannot have some fun now so that we can move on to our goals. We need to be able to have our brain online in the morning to realize that getting up in the morning will help us get to our goals. Whatever your why is. For me, it's being a better mom, but yours may look different, and that's okay. It's whatever your goal is for your life. In the process of going through this journey, I found I really enjoy the mornings. They're very peaceful, and getting to see the sunrise. I never thought that I would be saying those words, but now that I'm in the habit, it's not so hard. It's enjoyable. And so I want to encourage you that it's possible. Another thing that I do to set myself up for success, the night before, in addition to setting my intention, I will also set out my stuff. So what do I need the next day? Am I going to the gym? Do I need my gym bag? Do I need to find my keys for work? What do I need to set out so I'm not rummaging around trying to find them in the morning, forgetting things? I will make my coffee the night before, have it all in the coffee pot ready to go on a timer so that I wake up and my coffee is ready. And I don't have to wait that way. Coffee is my friend. But for you, what do you need for the next morning? Set it out by the door, on a table, have it all together, ready to go. Pack your lunch in the fridge, whatever you need to do so that you are set up to just grab and go. If you're working from home or if you're going to be doing things in your house, then you can set up your stuff that you're going to do in your house. Have your computer ready, your books ready. If it's exercise, having your mat out, your coffee, your whatever you're going to be doing, have a little station so that you can just get up and you're ready. It doesn't have to be about leaving the house. It's getting the things that you need so that there's less thinking in the morning. One of the other things that I learned from Andrew Huberman was about light. So light in the morning is extremely important, and oftentimes when I'm getting up in the morning, the sun's not up yet. So I actually got a light therapy lamp. It is used for people who have seasonal affective disorder, I believe it's called, SAD, for people that live in parts of the world where you're not getting as much sunlight. So you can get a lamp that will mimic sunlight for you indoors when the sun's not out. And it uses LED light, not UV light. So it's important to make the distinction because UV light can damage your skin. Andrew Huberman talks about the importance of getting outside and getting light in your eyes, not staring at the sun, but being outside is different than being inside, even in a well-lit room. And actually, I got one of the light meters out there that measures light in lux, and you can see in a bright room, indoors, how many lux there are. Mine was about maybe 200. I think the max it was maybe 600 in one really bright room. But if you go outside, you get to 10,000 lux or more, and it's drastically different outside. And I didn't realize how important it was in setting our circadian rhythm of getting that light into the photoreceptors in our eyes in the morning. Once I started using my light therapy lamp, since I get up before the sun, I had a much easier time resetting my circadian rhythm and getting tired at night, which I never used to do. So if you're interested, you can download an app on your phone. It's not a perfect science, and see for yourself with the lux of how much is in your room On a bright day, on a sunny day, on a cloudy day outside, you can take it out and you can see for yourself. And then what do I actually do in the morning? It depends on the day. Sometimes I go to the gym in the morning, sometimes I'm here, but I generally have a routine. I get some exercise, I have a morning devotional, read my Bible, I get some sunlight, whether it's through the lamp or through outside once the sun does come up. And one last thing would be a cold shower. I know. Ugh. Everybody's talking about it. It's so hard to do. A cold shower will help shock your body awake. Yes, it's hard. And for me, I don't actually shower with the cold on. I will take a nice warm shower and then turn it cold at the end because I can't get myself clean with using soap with cold water. Sorry, I can't. But it still gives me that jolt. It helps me in the morning to wake up. And so if you're struggling with grogginess, with tiredness in the morning, just can't make it, you didn't sleep much, just try it. Take your shower normal and then turn it cold at the end for a few seconds, 30 seconds, 60 seconds. See if you can gradually build up over time. You don't need a whole lot. Once you get that shock to your system, stay in for a little bit longer and then you can get out. So I would never expect you to do all these things. This was just a summary of how I became a morning person and how I learned to love the mornings, but I hope it inspired you in some way. Now I'm curious, are you an early bird? Are you a night owl? Are you like me where you flip-flopped to one side or the other? And do you have any tips or tricks that you can share down in the comments? We'd love to hear that from you. So if you found any of this helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Another thing that I do the night before to set myself up success, a little part of your brain here in the prefrontal cortex, I'm saying that a lot, very creative and give you a spike in cortisol. Cortisol? Cortisol.